Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? Rebecca is here, your local senior living specialist, along with all things senior care resources, and of course, advocate, senior care advocate. Wanted to come to you all for part two of what we were discussing yesterday. Said I was going to try to come on a little bit more often and just encourage you all as primary caregivers to continue to be like an eagle. One of my questions today, I was at a county resource board meeting retreat, and they asked if I were to be an animal, what animal would I want to be? And I chose an eagle because they are they have strength, wisdom. These were some of the characteristics that remind you of an eagle: strength, wisdom, and courage. And I always pray and ask God to give me courage, give me strength, and give me the wisdom to help families that are having to make decisions for their elderly loved ones or parents. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about what we discussed yesterday, and I did leave some things out. So I wanted to make sure I came back to you all and shared some other things you would need to have in place when transitioning a loved one or parent from a different state. And so to add on to that, I would like to say that you do need to have legal documentation in order. And that also depends on if your parent is competent or incompetent. So a lot of times, if a loved one is having some memory loss or has been diagnosed with dementia, may not have been diagnosed with dementia. So let's start off with a parent that does not have any memory issues or have been diagnosed with dementia. You would need to have a conversation with your parent and let them know that, mom, dad, you're getting older, and if something were to happen to you, who is going to be responsible of making those decisions? You're coming, you're transitioning here closer to me. So obviously, you wouldn't say it just like this, but, you're closer to me, and I want to be there for you, and I want to be able to, help you make those decisions, or in case of an emergency where you're not able to make those decisions, we have the right, the legal documents in place to do that. And that would be a POA. I was speaking with the elder law attorney a few months back, and they said in the state of Georgia, they no longer look at living wills, but you do need to have a POA, okay? And a POA is a power of attorney. And that power of attorney consists of two things. One, your health decisions, your healthcare decisions, your advance directive, okay? If something were to happen to you, do you want to be on life support? Things like that, okay? And then the other part of that POA is financial. Who's going to handle your finances? What do you have a savings? Do you have an IRA account? Whatever your financials are, your monthly income, whatever that is, and you're no longer able to handle that, you need to have somebody in place to be able to do that, okay? So that's for a parent that has no memory issues. However, if you have a parent that has been forgetful, and I mean very forgetful to take their medications, forgetful, to turn off the stove, or forgetting where they place their keys, situations where it's not just, okay, mama's forgetting a little bit, but it's really affecting their daily activities or them having to make sound decisions, then you would, of course, you also need a POA, but at this time, you would have to, you really need to have that loved one see a neurologist, because they would need to be, if they're not willing to give you the POA, let me back up a little bit. if they're not willing to give it to you willingly, then they will need to see a neurologist. And this goes also for a loved one or a parent that has been diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's, right? You would need to have them declared incompetent, and that would have to be done through them seeing a neurologist. Have them declared incompetent so that you can get not just POA, but guardianship, okay? And that's very important because, you know, at this point in time, you're not just making decisions for their health, or their finances. You're making decisions over them, you know, and their overall well-being. So that's very important too. And I always recommend that you speak with an elder law attorney when it comes to those things. Yes, you can go online and look it up. And I can provide some resources where, you know, some other resources as well for, you know, understanding POAs and things like that. But an elder law attorney is a great resource and someone to talk to so that you can get a better understanding of how you need to go about this legally. Okay. The other thing is having a support system. So if you're here by yourself, having a support system is very important. You know, you might need respite care from time to time. So, you know, having a support system, if that's your church, if that's a friend, if that's family, you know, really talk with that support system and let them know what your needs are going to be based off what your loved ones' individual care needs are, so that you can already have that in place and everybody know their role. Okay. So that's very important as well. So I wanted to share those things with you. Part 2 of, you know, how to prepare to transition a loved one from out of state. If you have any questions, again, comment down in the post, or you can messenger me here through the Education for Resources page, Education and Resources for Primary Caregivers page. You can messenger me there as well. And I hope that this helps. Be encouraged to know that you're not alone, and I am here for you. And we do have some people in the group that that likes to, you know, share information and be encouraging as well. So, you know, when you see them in the comments, you know, talk to them, get to know some other people that, you know, are going through or have experienced what you're having to experience now as, you know, the decision maker, the primary caregiver of your loved one or your parents. Okay. You all have a blessed evening. Bye-bye.